Good evening, students. Welcome to the class on coordination chemistry. We were discussing crystal field theory. In an octahedral complex, all the ligands will approach the central metal along the axis. So the orbitals which lie along the axis, they will experience greater repulsion dx square y square dz square. They will experience greater repulsion, so that is why they will increase their energy, whereas orbitals which doesn't lie along the which lie in between the axis, that means dxy dyz and dzx, they will stabilize. So in an octahedral complex, three orbitals T2G orbitals are stabilized, two orbitals EG orbitals are destabilized. What is tetragonal distortion? If we further elongate two electrons along the z direction, then orbitals with z contribution will experience lower repulsions. Because of the lower repulsions, orbitals with z contribution will be stabilized. So out of these three, orbitals with z contribution dyz and dzx will be stabilized. Orbital without z contribution, that means dxy, will destabilize. In EG also, orbital with the z contribution, that means dz square, will be stabilized. Orbital without z contribution, that is dx square y square, will be destabilized. Now we will look at square planar complex. What is square planar complex? If we can remove these two ligands which are along the z axis completely, then we will observe square planar complex. When we remove two ligands along the z direction, we observe decreased decreased repulsions along the z direction. That means orbitals with z contribution will further stabilize. dyz dzx is stabilized, dz square is also stabilized, but orbitals without z contribution dxy is destabilized, dx square y square is also destabilized. So this is what square planar splitting. You please take these notes. Now we will look at crystal field splitting. In other molecules, like for example, first we will take a linear molecule. In linear molecules, crystal field splitting will be, see for example, these are 5d orbitals, and this is a mean energy level. Then two orbitals d x square y square and dxy are stabilized. dxz dyz, this is dz square. For example, linear molecule. What is a linear molecule? When we have a metal which is bonded to two ligands. For example, take this bond axis as the z axis. If this bond axis is the z axis, then ligands are approaching the metal along the z axis. Then orbitals with z contribution will be destabilized. Orbitals without z contribution will be stabilized. Among these two also, dz square is highly stabilized, destabilized. So this is how we can predict crystal field splitting for other molecules. Now we will look at trigonal planar. For trigonal planar, dzx, dxz, sorry, dyz, dzx, dyz, dz square, this is dx square, y square, dxy. Next we will see CFT in trigonal bipyramidal complex. In trigonal bipyramidal complex, dzx, dyz, dx square, y square, dxy, dz square. And final molecule square pyramid. Square pyramid. In a square pyramid, dzx, dyz, dxy, dz square, dx square, y square. As we know, this is the energy order. Lowest lying orbitals will have lower energy, and this is with increasing energy. Generally, we will be asked to arrange these 5d orbitals either in the increasing order of energy or decreasing order of energy in these complexes. Now we will look at the applications of CFT. How crystal field theory will be utilized to explain the lattice energies or ionic radii or enthalpies of hydration for different complexes. That we will see. For example, first we will look at CFSC of dihalides of the first transition series. First transition series. Halogens, dihalogens. Transition elements, 3D elements are called first transition elements. Now, for example, if it is iodine, calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. These are the 3D elements. Of course, calcium is not. When it is in +2 oxidation state, here we have D0, then D1, D2, of course, up to D10 in +2 oxidation state. Now we will look for Mi2 complex. Mi2 complex. As we know, here we will take lattice energy. Lattice energy, or we can say CFSC. Because there are no electrons in the d block, d orbitals. For calcium iodide molecule, we observe generally very low energy. We observe very low energy. Now, for scandium 2 plus ion, we have one electron in d block, d orbital. So CFSE will increase a little bit. For example, if you consider calcium 2 plus CFSE is 0, then this is scandium. Now, for titanium 2 plus, we have two electrons in d orbital, so CFSE will further increase. CFSE will further increase. For vanadium 3 plus, 2 plus, we have three electrons in d block, so CFSE will further increase. For chromium 2 plus, there are four electrons. As we know, three electrons in T2G, fourth electron in EG. Because of that, its energy will decrease. For manganese, its energy will further decrease, right? For manganese, which is having D5 configuration, so its CFSE is 0, lattice energy will also come down. Similarly, for iron will increase, cobalt 2 plus, nickel 2 plus will increase. For copper, it will decrease. For zinc, it will further decrease. When we add these points, we will get a graph like this. So this is the lattice energy of Mi2 complexes for first transition series. Now when we take this, we expect 0 CFSE for calcium, manganese and zinc. Yes, CFSE is 0, but lattice energy is not 0. It will have some lattice energy, but they will follow this trend. Okay. Now, if you were asked to compare the lattice energies of calcium iodide and scandium iodide, which one will be larger? According to this graph, scandium will be higher than calcium iodide. So from this graph, we can clearly compare, and you don't need to remember the values. We can clearly remember which one will have high lattice energy, which one will have low lattice energy. Right. Similarly, for we can also draw the graphs for bromine, and then chlorine, and then fluorine. As we know, iodine is the least or weak ligand, then bromine, then chlorine, then fluorine. So with the increase in ligand strength, we also observe increase in CFSE. Similarly, lattice energy will also increase in the same fashion. Lattice energy will also increase in the same fashion. This is for bromine. This is for chlorine. This is for fluorine. So lattice energy will also increase in the same fashion. Just remember, from this graph, we can compare which molecules are having high lattice energy, which molecules are having low lattice energy. For example, you tell me calcium bromide, manganese bromide, and zinc bromide. Which one is having highest lattice energy? Which one is having lowest lattice energy among these three molecules? Now we will look at the enthalpy of hydration for metal in 2 plus and metal in 3 plus oxidation state in kilojoules per mole. Similar to lattice energy, we can also expect enthalpy of hydration for MH2O 6 times 2 plus complexes or MH2O 6 times 3 plus complexes. As usual, on the x-axis we will take calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, zinc. For M3 plus, we will start with scandium, then in the middle iron, and it is not zinc. After zinc, gallium. So we need to increase one more element because it is 3 plus. Here it is 2 plus. Yeah, here we will consider enthalpy of hydration. It is between kilojoules per mole units. As I said, the enthalpy of hydration for these complexes will follow similar trend as we have discussed for the CFSC of dihalide complexes. So here also calcium will be having low enthalpy of hydration, then scandium, titanium, vanadium, up to vanadium it will increase, then for chromium and manganese it will come down, then iron, cobalt, nickel, it will increase, nickel, then copper, zinc, it will decrease. So it will follow the same trend. So it is D0, then D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, then D6, D7, D8, D8 it will be maximum, then D9, D10. Similarly, for plus 3 oxidation state, because here oxidation state is increasing from plus 2 to plus 3, we must expect increase in CFSE. So here it is 4000 to 4800 kilojoules per mole. Now it will follow the same trend. Okay, but here it is scandium 3 plus, D1, D2, D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, manganese 3 plus, D5, iron 3 plus, then D6, D7, D8, it is copper 3 plus, then D9, zinc 3 plus, then gallium 3 plus, D10. So it will follow the same trend for enthalpies of hydration. Now we will also look at ionic radii, octahedral ionic radii of metal in 2 plus oxidation state. It is radii in angstroms. Then we will look at calcium, manganese, and zinc. Metal is in plus 2 oxidation state. Now it will follow the reverse trend. It will follow the reverse trend. For calcium, radius is very high, then it will come down, it will decrease for scandium, titanium, vanadium, then it will increase and it will increase up to manganese, then again it will decrease and it will increase up to zinc. So this is calcium 2 plus, this is manganese 2 plus, and this is zinc 2 plus. Here the difference is that it is the actual trend, it is the it is expected trend, but this is the actual trend. Actual trend is different than expected. Now I'll explain what is this. Here, with increase in CFSC, what we will observe decrease in size. If CFSE increases, size decreases. So this graph is exactly opposite to the CFSE graphs. Calcium, it will have lowest CFSE or highest size. Then for scandium, its CFSE increases, size decreases. So scandium 2 plus, titanium 2 plus, vanadium 2 plus, up to vanadium 2 plus, it will increase. Then for chromium 2 plus, yes, CFSE decreases. That is why size increases. But in case of manganese, it is supposed to be here, but it is not here, right? It is the actual expected size. This is because the screening by the EG orbitals is so good that the radius of Mn2 plus is slightly smaller than it is expected. Why the size of Mn2 plus is smaller than expected? If it is here, this point, then it is expected. But actually it is here. That means size is lesser than expected. Reason is that EG orbitals are better at screening. Because of the EG orbital screening, we observe smaller size for manganese 2 plus than expected. Okay. Then in chromium 2 plus and manganese 2 plus, similarly for copper 2 plus and zinc 2 plus, electrons enter into EG orbitals which repel the incoming ligands, hence the size increases. Why the size is increasing? Up to vanadium it is size increasing, but in chromium size, up to vanadium size is decreasing, but in chromium size is increasing. Similarly, up to nickel size is decreasing, but copper and zinc size is increasing. Why? Why? Because chromium 2 plus means D4 system. In D4, 3 electrons will be in EG. Next electron will enter into EG. Sorry, 3 electrons in T2G. Next electron will enter into EG. So when electron enters into EG, the ligands will have greater repulsion. Because of that greater repulsion, the size of the metal will increase. Size of the metal will increase. So for chromium and manganese, similarly for copper and zinc, electrons enter into EG orbitals which repel the incoming ligands, hence the size increases.